All right. Hello, everyone. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. And welcome to this another live stream today. So this is the 5th of December on Sunday. So as I do every week, today is the weekly forecast. So I will look at some pairs today, and Forex pairs, and commodity gold, and WTI, and indices. And I will look at, we're going to review the news for next week. So let's get started now. All right. And I am getting ready now, so please bear with me a couple more minutes. So the other day, there was a festival in Dubai because they were celebrating the 50-year anniversary in Dubai. So there were lots of events last week. And I was going to be outside and look around the town, but I decided not to because there are too many people in the mall outside. So I was even thinking to drive a car. But since there are too many cars also in the street, I decided not to. So I was simply enjoying the live events and some light shows, fireworks from my apartment. But yeah, I hope you're having a great weekend today. So let's check some charts and news to get ready for the trades for next week. All right, so now I'm ready. So let me change the screen and start the session today. So quick disclaimer is that this information is basically based on my own experience and knowledge. So when you take trades, please do at your own risk. And since this is live stream, if you can please follow the rules and guidelines, that would be great. Okay, so yeah, so let's start now. Thank you for joining, everyone. Great to see you. Once again, Arcadi and Archback, Victor, Taram, and Wong, Karim, and Thanapol, Gabby. Good to see you, everyone. Thank you for joining. All right, so first, let me screen the Forex pairs. So I will cover these 21 pairs on my watch list first, and I will cover the weekly time frame. Because every weekend on Monday, I look at the weekly time frame just to see which way the market's going. Because most likely, if weekly, like Euro USD is going down, so weekly chart showing down. So most likely, this week on the daily time frame, lower time frames will be downtrending. So instead of looking for the buy, we can expect to look for the sell chance this week. So that's why I watch the weekly every weekend, and every month end I watch the monthly chart. But during the week, I only look at the daily or lower time frames. But sometimes just to confirm, I watch the higher time frame. But most likely during the week, I watch daily or lower time frames. So yep, let's look at the weekly time frame on these Forex pairs first. And in case if you want me to watch some other pairs, please let me know in the chat so that I can review while on this live stream. So, all right, I see more people coming in. Thank you for joining. REF and Peter, EFMP, thank you for joining as well. And Gabby, good to see you also. Thank you for joining. Okay, so here is weekly chart Euro USD, and as Ichimoku shows that this is bearish. So for those who are new to my channel, my name is Kei. First of all, my name is Kei, and I am a Japanese Forex trader, and I use Ichimoku to capture direction and momentum of the market. So to identify the market direction, I simply look at Ichimoku 5 lines. So I use Kumo Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen, Chikou span, angle, and location just to see which way it's going. So right now, as you can see here, this is called Kumo. And Kumo is composed of two lines. which are Senko span B and Senko span A. So when the Kumo is bearish, Senko span B is upper part and Senko span A is lower part. When the Kumo is bullish, Senko span B is the lower part and Senko span A is upper part. And this is where Senko span AB get cross. And this is making the Kumo twist. And Kumo is showing the long-term market direction and momentum. So right now, as you can see, the Senko span A is down, Senko span B is flat, but Kumo itself is down. So in the long term, this is a bearish market. And also, the green line is called Kijun Sen. And Kijun Sen is right now pointing down, bearish. So Kijun Sen shows midterm, and this is also bearish. So I expect the market will be going down next week. And also Tenkan Sen. The blue one is called Tenkan Sen. This line. And Tenkan Sen shows short-term market direction and momentum. And right now Tenkan Sen is pointing down. So in the short term also, this is bearish. And finally, Chikou span. I look at the location of Chikou span to the market. And right now Chikou span is below the price, below the market. So simply that means the market is bearish. So overall at a glance, I see that this is bearish. So I look for the selling edge next week. So simply like this, I watch the weekly chart by the 5 lines. And together we're going to watch these pairs first. So Euro USD, it's bearish on the weekly. And in terms of candlesticks, we saw there was a doji candlestick from last week. So this week, if the doji has been broken bearish, which is at 1.1240, then I expect the market continues to be bearish on this direction. So that I would expect to wait, and it might happen sometime next week. And then I will look for the selling edge when it happens. So like this, I am a trend follower. So first, I capture which way the market's going by Ichimoku. And after I identify which way the market going, then I watch the candlestick and draw these levels, support line, resistance line, and wait for the potential breakout of doji or engulfing breakouts. So Euro USD is down. So if I see that this is downtrending, so I mark purple, so that when the market opens tomorrow, I know that this is downtrending on the weekly time frame. And like this, I cover the 20 pairs on my watch list first. So let's move on to the next one, Euro AUD. All right, John Hera, good to see you. And Gracie, and John, Nemesis, good to see you. Emeka, and DJ Yadi, good to see you also. Thanks for joining. All right, so here is Euro AUD. And this one, what do you see here now? Do you think it's bullish or bearish or range? Is a question. So it's either bullish or bearish or range in Ichimoku. So this one also, I watch the Kumo, Kijun Sen, Tenkan Sen, and Chikou span. And also location of the price. So right now, you see the Kumo's flat. Senko span AB are at the same level, and this is flat Kumo, like pancakes is flat. So in the long term, it's showing range market, no direction. And if you look at the Tenkan Sen, Kijun Sen, both ones are flat also. So in the short midterm, it's also flat ranging. And Chikou span is above the candles, but since the market is ranging, we can expect which way it's going on the weekly basis. So even if we see uptrend for the last 2 weeks, next week can be bearish. So we have to see which way it's going. So most likely Euro AUD, I keep myself away unless I see any trends on the lower time frames. So, but during the week, from tomorrow, I might see uptrend or downtrend on the daily or lower time frames. So if that's the case, I will follow the lower time frame. But weekly is flat, so it might turn bearish anytime soon. So if I drop down to daily chart, for example, daily chart broke the Kumo upwards, and we had the Sanyaku Koten signal, Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen, Gold Cross, Chikou span breakout, and Kumo breakout. So this is bullish as per daily chart, but one thing is that the Kumo is too small. So Kumo needs to be developed more for its bullishness. Otherwise, the market might retrace backwards anytime soon. Especially the market is near the previous resistance level, it will be retracing backwards, and the resistance is very near. So resistance daily is here at 1.6238. So it may retrace backwards, but since daily time frame there was a Sanyaku Koten signal, after the market retraced backwards, it may break and goes up continuously. So most likely in this pair, I will wait for the breakout of 1.6238 and look for buying edge afterwards by the daily time frame. So that's Euro AUD. So let's wait for the resistance breakout on the daily time frame. Right, and the next one is Euro Pound. So Euro Pound, coming back to the weekly chart, this is now still bearish. You can see that the Kumo down, Senko span B flat, but Senko span A is pointing down. In the long term, it has been bearish, and the price is now on the Kijun Sen and Tenkan Sen pointing down, and Chikou span is too close. So although we see bearishness in the longer term, in the short to mid term, it's flat ranging. So the market may go up from here. So in this case, we can't tell which way it's going on the weekly basis. So I will drop down to daily time frame. So if I look at the daily time frame, this is also showing the range market. You know, the Kumo flat, Kijun Sen flat, Chikou span is too close, so it's ranging. But this, in the price action, this is lower highs and lower lows. So you can draw the descending trend line and see if it bounces and continue to be bearish next week. If it points down, if it goes down bearish, and if the market breaks the Kumo and Kijun Sen, then the market may turn bearish. So I would say I wait for the breakout of the Kijun Sen in the daily chart, which is 0.8488 level. And I will look at the forward chart and see if forward chart shows downtrend then. So that is my view. But if the market breaks the trend line, then no trade. If this happens, then I won't look for the sell chance anymore. So Ichimoku works the best with the lines and price actions. So make sure that you draw lines and look at the candlesticks and price actions, the waves, to capture which way it's going. Then it becomes even more powerful. When I was losing for the first 2 years, I used to use Ichimoku, but I stopped using back then because I thought it's complicated, but I was losing. And after I lost some money. I blow up at one account, and I lost half on the second account. And that's when I came back to demo account. And then I studied about the price action. And after I study back test and have good understanding and experience in the price action, I started to apply Ichimoku again, and then it made more sense to me. And ever since, I have been using Ichimoku for a long time. So yeah, make sure to use price action and waves also with Ichimoku, and that becomes even more powerful in that way. So that's the euro pound. I expect the market bounces a trend line, but if it breaks, then I won't look for the sell. So that's the euro pound. So the next one is a euro Jpy. So starting from the weekly, always top down. I always start from the higher time frame and break it down to the lower time frames. So here is euro Jpy, and I can see that the market is going down through the Kumo now. So expecting the market breaks the Kumo bearish. But if you see Kumo, it's flat and Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen turning bearish, but it just started to turn bearish and the market just broke the support level. Support level was here at 127.89 and it just broke. So this is a bit bearish. So I expect the market going down next week. And with that in mind, if you look at the daily chart showing bearish. You can see that the Kumo down, Senko span B down, A down. After the Kumo twist, it's got the nice and stable Kumo. So this is showing stable, bearish in the long term. Senko span B, A, Kumo shows the long-term market momentum. And if you look at this Kijun-sen, it's also pointing down. And Tenkan-sen is also down. Chikou span below the candles. So in the daily time frame, Euro JPY, it's bearish. So we can look for the sell chance next week as per daily time frame, and expect the market breaks the Kumo on the weekly time frame. So tomorrow, on Monday, I will look at this one. So I will mark this as a red because red is the daily direction, daily trend in my trading view. All right, so this is good. This has been bearish, and not only that, the market has been below the Tenkan-sen, so it's showing stable bearish. So as long as the market is below Tenkan-sen, I continue to look for the sell chance in the lower time frames. So that's Euro JPY. So let's move on to Euro CAD. All right, Euro CAD, what you can see here is, first of all, on the longer time frame, longer term, this is bearish because you see the consecutive bearish end wave, reverse end wave on the weekly time frame. So it may retrace back to the Kijun-sen, but when it touches Kijun-sen, it continuously goes down this way in the long term. But next week, so in that sense, next week might be bullish, and the target might be on the Kijun-sen or the previous support level of around 1.4582. The market might go up to that level or Kijun-sen and reject it and retrace backwards like this way. But so with that in mind, if you look at the daily chart, this is near, actually this is in the Kumo now, and the market is ranging. And this wave, if you look at this wave, it's expanding. So counting from here, it was bearish in wave, but after this bearish in wave, the market went up all the way, and it broke the previous resistance, and now this is turning bullish in wave. So this is called Y wave. So let me mark this as a yellow. So this is called Y wave in Ichimoku, and this is a very tricky market. So when I see Y wave, simply I stay away. So, but the market might bounce on this previous support level or the Kijun-sen, which is the similar level as the daily Senko span B. The market may reach that level and retrace backwards and continuously follow the long-term weekly trend. So this is what I expect. So, but one of the rules is that if the market is within the Kumo, I won't be trading. So most likely I have to wait until the market breaks the Kumo and then look for the sell chance. So that's one. And also for this particular market, we can draw the forecast lines. Forecast lines can be used when you see the retracement like this on the daily time frame. So you can capture the previous low because the market retracing backwards. So simply you take the previous low and you draw one line to Senko span B when it was forming at that time of the bounce, and also another line to Senko span A. So you get these forecast lines on the daily time frame. And what you can do is you monitor chart And you see if the market, where the market will be landing as per forecast line. If it lands above the forecast line on the 30th of December, then from next day or next year, it could go up this way. But if the market lands within the forecast line, within the Kumo, then most likely that will be in a range. And if it lands below the forecast lines, then that will be continuously be bearish. So we have about 1 month to monitor, but as it goes on, we monitor the chart. So in this case, most likely what I expect is the market will be resisted by this previous support or the Senko span B, which is also the Kijun Sen on the weekly, and then reverse backwards. So it may reverse backwards and it may land within the forecast lines or below the forecast line is my expectation. But once again, since the market will be in the Kumo, in this situation, I won't be trading in this case. So Euro CAD, most likely, I will be away from the chart next week. Alright, and so let me cover the last Euro base pair. So that's Euro Swiss franc. And in terms of weekly chart, this is bearish nicely. And the market broke the support also from the week of May or April. The market broke the support level of 1.0503 and it has been continuously be bearish. Because of the strong Swiss franc last week, it has been bearish. So the Kumo's showing down nicely, Tenkan Sen, Kijun Sen down, and Chikou span below the candles. So I will be looking for the sell chance next week. And also if you look at the daily chart, this is also bearish. So I will just mark this purple because downtrending on the weekly, also daily time frame. And also if you look at the market has been resisted by this Tenkan Sen many times. So as long as the market below Tenkan Sen, sell will be the right choice. But when you see the market breaks the Tenkan Sen sometime next week, this week, then you better stop looking for the sell chance because it has been a pattern. So the pattern is the market has been below the Tenkan Sen. But as soon as you see the market breaks the Tenkan Sen, the pattern has been changed, then you better hold. So yeah, I will be looking for the sell chance next week also on Euro Swiss franc. Alright, so that covers the whole Euro base pairs. So Euro USD's weekly downtrending and Euro JPY's downtrending on the daily time frame, and then Euro Swiss franc downtrending daily and also the weekly time. And then we will move on to the USD currencies, USD based currency pairs. But before moving on, let me cover some comments here now. Yeah, so once again, good to see you everyone. If you liked it so far, please press the like button before you leave. That would be great for me to keep going. So let's see, John Harris says, how often would you say the N wave occurs to mark your entry confirmation when waiting patiently on the 5-minute chart? Just saw your live stream yesterday. Yeah, so basically, N wave happens most of the time. Most of the time when I take trades, N wave happens. Or before N wave happens, I take a trade and I expect N wave to happen after my entry. So simply, I look at the markets as N waves on any time frames. And if N wave happens towards my direction, that confirms me that the market is going towards my direction. But if N wave doesn't happen after the entry, then most likely I will exit in 5 or 15-minute chart. All right. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, so how would you confirm the trend if daily shows up and forward chart showing down? I didn't see any markets where daily chart showing up and forward chart showing down. If you see one of these one of these situations, then please send me a screenshot by email because I would like to see. Yeah, but that will be a very rare case. If the market is volatile, spiky, then daily chart might be going up, but in the forward chart, it may shooting down and it may break the Kumo. But in that case, in 1 or 2 candlesticks, if the Kumo breakout happens in the forward chart, most likely in the forward chart, Kumo is very thin and I don't trade because thin Kumo means, it's a oversold market. So simply I wait for the Kumo to be thicker in 4 and then look for the sell chance afterwards. And by the time when the Kumo is thicker in the forward chart, in a daily time frame, it should be flat already. So I don't think the market there will be a market where daily is up and 4 is down. But if you do see it, then please send me the screenshot by email, and then we can discuss on that. All right, yeah, good to see you, everyone. Thanks for joining. Also to confirm, whenever the candle is at the distance from the Kumo means strong trend and to continue to hold the position. Yes, that is true. A candlestick, the distance between candlestick and Kumo is showing the momentum of the market. If the distance is wide, then that means this is a strong downtrend, unstable downtrend. But also you have to look at the Kumo shape. Kumo needs to be thick enough and long enough. And this is okay. But sometimes you see Kumo is like a needle, very thin, and that is the oversold market or overbought market if it's bullish. All right, so let's move on to USD based currency pairs. So starting from the USD Jpy, a weekly time frame shows that this is still up bullish. The Kumo's up, Kijun Sen are flat, and Tenkan Sen is up, Chikou span above the candles. So this is bullish as Kumo shows in the long term. But so in the long term, we can still expect the market goes up on this bullish N wave, right, like this. But in the lower time frames, it has been retracing backwards, and it may retrace back to the Kijun Sen next week. So if you're looking for the sell, then 112.10 will be the target. So with that in mind, if I look at the daily time frame, now the market is within the Kumo, so I would stay away in this case. I would stay away until the market goes above the Kumo, above Kijun Sen, and then look for the buy chance afterwards. The Kijun Sen needs to be up, and Kumo also needs to be up, and Chikou span needs to be above the candles to look for the buy chance. Until then, I will continuously monitor the chart. And also, it may drop down to the Kijun Sen on the weekly or the Senko span B level in the daily and bounces and goes up. But once the market breaks that level, it may continuously go down this way. So that will be the key for USD JPY. But as compared to Euro Swiss franc or other pairs, this is ranging to me in Y wave also. You see Y wave here, so you can also use the forecast lines on this one. So you take the previous high, which was marked on the 24th of November, and you draw one line to Senko span B, which was 26 to the future, including this candlestick. So in trading view, it becomes 25, and counting from here also to Senko span A, which were forming at that time. So the 29th of December is the end of the forecast lines, and see where the market lands. If it lands above the forecast lines, then that will be bullish next year. If it lands below the forecast lines, most likely that will be bearish in the next year. And if it lands within the forecast lines, that will be range for the next couple of days next year. So that's the USD JPY. And the next one is USCCAD. Okay, so USCCAD weekly chart showing that this is about to break the Kumo. So that's one of the things that is important to remember. But the market is near the previous resistance level, near around here, 1.2889, and also over here too, 1.2954. We have 2 weeks pointing upwards, and also there was previous support level here. So even if you see the market breaks the Kumo, it may reverse, but in the long term it's bullish, so it may go up in this direction. So that's the weekly time frame. So simply I would prefer to wait for the Kumo breakout and resistance breakout on the weekly time frame to look for the buy chance. But with that in mind, if you look at the daily time frame, this is now turning bullish. The market has been above the Tenkan-sen, the Kumo's up, Kijun-sen is up, and Chikou span above the candles. But one thing is, the Kijun-sen is within the Kumo. And when you see Kijun-sen within the Kumo, the market may reverse backwards. So, together with these previous resistance levels and Senko span B level on the weekly, I expect the market reverse and it may break the Tenkan-sen next week. So most likely, I stay away until the market breaks the upper part of this resistance and look for buy if it happens next week. So that's the USDC AD. So let's cover the USDC's run. This one has been ranging. As you can see here, Kumo flat, Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen flat, Chikou span too close, and the market has been ranging basically up and down. So there is no trend and no trace. And on the daily time frame also, it's been ranging, so simply I would stay away. So that covers the USD base pairs. So next I will cover the pound base pairs. But before doing that, let me cover some other comments now. Zebro says, do you ever experience market manipulation? And how do you deal with it if you do? Yeah, market manipulation may happen, but with the risk management skills, you can avoid these manipulations. So basically, I don't really care about the manipulations because I simply follow the market direction, and simply when the market reverses, I exit very quickly. For example, in the month of October, my average losing pips was only 7. I took the most loss in 15 pips on the month of October. So that's how quick I exit as soon as I see the market reverse backwards. And by doing this, you can deal with the manipulations. So I think, yes, there are manipulations, but by having a good skill about exit timing and risk management, you can deal with it. All right, could you please analyze Nifty 50 for next week? Yes, I will cover Nifty chart when I cover the indices in this live stream. But let me cover Forex pairs first. All right, so let me go to the pound pairs. The pound dollar. On the weekly time frame, this is now turning bearish and it's about to break. It's broke the Kumo actually. It just broke the Kumo last week and Kumo's turning bearish. So this is a nice sign of bearishness. In price action, you see a head and shoulders. You see this head and shoulders and the market broke the neckline. So the neckline was here. The market broke the neckline and now it's turning bearish. So we can look for the sell chance. And with that in mind, looking at the daily time frame, this is bearish. Kumo down, Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen down, Chikou span below the candles. So for sure, this one is bearish. So we can look for the sell chance next week. And one thing is that if you look at the price action, candlesticks, you saw that there was a long wick with this doji candle. So to be safer, I would wait for the support line breakout of 1.3194 and then take a sell afterwards. But because unless it breaks, the market may continue to be in a range and it might reverse backwards. And if the doji has been broken upwards, then the market may retrace back to Kijun-sen if it happens sometime this week. So to be safer, I want to wait for the breakout and then take a sell afterwards. But I do expect that to happen because this is bearish on the weekly and daily time frame. Alright, Atrusi term, thank you for the reminder for the like button. So yeah, if you liked it so far, please press like button, that would be great. Okay, so now let's move on to Pound JPY on the weekly time frame. Okay, Pound JPY weekly is now dropping down to Kumo. And you can see that there is a support level here at 148.54. So, and the market is now going into the Kumo, so the market can be spiky. And with that in mind, looking at the daily time frame, this is bearish because Kumo is now turning bearish. Kijun-sen down, Tenkan-sen down, and Chikou span below candles. So to be safer, you want to wait for a breakout of this support level, 148.54, and then take the sell afterwards. Okay, so, but Pound JPY, I also marked this one. And the next one is Pound CAD. Pound CAD on the weekly is now ranging. The Kumo showing down. So in the long term, this is bearish. You see that it has been on the bearish in the wave. So in the long term, it's bearish. But in the mid-term, it's flat. Short term, it's bearish. And we have this doji last week. And Chikou span too close. So it may retrace back to Kijun-sen on the weekly. Or it might be range simply. So with that in mind, I look at the daily time frame and we don't see any trends. So, and also I don't like these wicks on the daily time frame. So most likely I stay away, ranging on the daily time frame. So the next one is Pound AUD. On the weekly time frame, the market is now ranging also. The Kumo flat, Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen flat. Chikou span above the candles, but the market is ranging on these four lines. So it can turn bearish anytime soon. So, but the market might go up to the previous resistance level and also the previous Senko span B level, 1.9143. That will be the target when you buy next week. And coming down to daily time frame, the Kumo's up, Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen up, and Chikou span above the candles. But once again, since Kijun-sen is within the Kumo also on this pair, it might be resisted at this previous resistance level in the daily, which is 1.8963, and retrace backwards. And even if the market breaks that level, then it may be resisted at this weekly resistance. So yeah, I would be waiting for the market to break 1.9143 and then look for buy afterwards. That's Pound AUD. And the next one is Pound Swiss franc. So it broke the Kumo, and Kumo is now turning bearish. Senko span A is turning bearish, but the Kumo itself is still flat bullish Kumo. And Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen going bearish, Chikou span below candles. And the market is now reaching to the previous resistance levels. It broke the previous resistance and looks like this is going down. So with that in mind, I look at the daily chart and this is turning bearish now. Kumo down, Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen down, and Chikou span below candles. So this is bearish. So I will continuously look for the selling edge next week. So that covers the whole that covers the pound pairs. And now we're moving on to Aud Base Pairs. So Aud USD. On the weekly, it's bearish. Kumo down, Kijun Sen, Tenkan Sen down. Chikou span below candles. But one thing is that the market is near the previous support level or previous reversal level. Reversal means that there was a previous resistances and support. So it may bounce this week. It may bounce back to Tenkan Sen or Kijun Sen. So to be safer, you want to wait for the clear break of 0.6996 level. And in the daily time frame, also on Monday, if it closes below 0.6996, then that will be a good sell chance from Tuesday. But it may bounce back, so we have to be careful for that. I will just mark this one also because this is downtrending on the daily time frame. And the next one is AUDCAD. So this one is also bearish on the weekly chart. Nicely bearish, and there is no previous support levels. So and also daily chart is showing downtrending also. So AUDCAD looks very good for next week. Right, and Aud Jpy on the weekly, this is about to break the Kumo, but after the breakout of the Kumo, there was a previous support level, 77.87, and the market is still ranging the Kumo flat, Kijun Sen, Tenkan Sen flat. So once the market touches that level, it may reverse backwards. So that will be the target when you're selling it. And if you look at the daily time frame, it's bearish, but the target to the weekly support is 80, maybe 90 pips or so. So Monday, Tuesday can be a good sell chance, but when the market reaches that level, you may want to exit. And as per daily time frame, also there was a previous support level here too. So it may bounce on this 78.90 and goes up also. So make sure to wait for the breakout of the support daily chart, and then target will be the weekly support. So Aud Jpy, I will mark red also. And the next one is AUD run. This one is also bearish nicely, but the market is also near the support level. Looks like almost all the markets are near either resistance support levels. So this is very, very difficult to trade, I think. Your target should be very narrow this week. Kumo down, Kijun Sen, Tenkan Sen down. Chikou span below candles. So target will be 0.6370 when you're selling it. And as per daily chart, this is also showing down. Kumo down, Kijun Sen, Tenkan Sen down. Chikou span below candles. So if you sell Monday, then you can expect the target to be around 47, 45 pips of the profit. And I say that this is a target, but it may break. If it breaks the previous support level, then there is no reason to exit. You can just keep holding. But when the market reverses backwards, then make sure you exit near that level. Is what I mean by the target. So ADC's run looks good, so I will just mark this one also as red. So now let's move on to CAD pairs. So CAD Jpy weekly time frame. It's reversing backwards now. In October, in November has been bearish, but if you look at the Kumo, it's still showing bullish. So in the weekly basis, this is just a retracement in the long term, and we can still expect the market goes up on this big N wave, bullish like this way. So that means it may turn bullish anytime. And one thing you can do is you can draw this the trend line on the weekly time frame. So the market may drop down to this trend line, and continuously go up afterwards. So yeah, also make sure to get the bigger picture like this on the weekly. So if you're selling it right now, then the trend line will be the target on the weekly time frame, or Senko spanner A should be the target. The previous support level cannot be target in this case because of this trend line and Kumo. So yeah, you might want to exit earlier than the market hits the previous support level in this case. And daily time frame showing the market broke the Kumo and it may drop down to a trend line. So if it drops down like this, then the trend line will be around 90 pips or so. So you can still make some nice profit next Monday, Tuesday. That will be a great target for that. And the next one is CAD Swiss run. On the weekly, the Kumo's flat, the Kijun Sen Tenkan-sen flat, Chikou span is pointing down, and the market is at the Senko span B, and also the previous support level. So the market might turn bullish next week. So if you look at the daily time frame, it shows bearish, but I would wait for the Monday close. If Monday close becomes below the previous support, well, technically the previous support would be on this week here on the daily, which was 0.7088. So make sure to wait for a clear break on that level, and then take a sell afterwards, because it may bounce and may be in the range afterwards. Alright, so finally I will cover Swiss franc JPY. Weekly is retracing backwards, but on the long term it's bullish. So the market could go up on the long term still, as Kumo shows uptrend like this way. But now it's retracing backwards, and last week and a week before was also doji candles, 2 doji candles, and lower time frames are showing flat ranging. Simply in this case, I would stay away. But if the market breaks a support level of 122.14, then sell might be a right call. But I don't take daily to sell. In this case, I will take either 4-hour chart or even 1-hour chart to sell. But we'll see. The market is now going into Kumo, so it may range for a couple more days. So that's the Swiss franc JPY. Okay, so yeah, so that covers the whole Forex pairs on my watch list. So now let me move on to gold and WTI. But before doing that, let me drink a cup of water and just take a breath for myself. All right, so okay, let me come back to some comments now. All right, John Harris says most of the support and resistance lines are based off from the Kijun Sen Tenkan-sen as well, the lowest highest candles. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I always draw support line resistance lines in higher time frames and Kijun Sen Tenkan-sen. Yeah, it happens to be like that. Sometimes, you know, support level, resistance levels are exactly the same level as Tenkan-sen, Kijun-sen, or Senko span B on higher time frames. Yeah, Hussein, that's right. If you see narrow Kumo, then that is a overshooting market, so the market may retrace. So you might want to wait for the thick Kumo to happen. All right, so yeah, so let's move on to the next one. So here is XAUUSD on the weekly time frame. It's flat ranging. So Kumo flat, Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen, you see divergence in Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen here, which is a rare case, but I think this is a good time to explain. So you see Tenkan-sen is pointing upwards and Kijun-sen is pointing downwards. So that means in the short term it's bullish, but in the midterm it's bearish. Long term it's flat. So what does that mean? It means this is a ranging market. The market is spiky, going up and down, ranging, so we better stay away. This was actually one of the questions I sometimes get by email. So for those who are new to Ichimoku, this is ranging market. In spiky, ranging, tricky market. So yeah, for the last 3 weeks it's been bearish, but this week might be bullish or bearish, we never know. And on the daily time frame, it's also showing flat. The Kumo Senko span A has been reversing backwards, but technically this is still bullish Kumo. And unless we see the Kumo twist, this is still showing flat Kumo. So in the long term it's flat, in the midterm it's flat also, Kijun-sen flat. Tenkan-sen is bearish because in the short term it's bearish. But yeah, it might be supported at this 1758.74 and bounce and goes up. But even so, it doesn't mean that the market goes up from here. It may be still ranging like this. So yeah, I would be staying away. I don't want to spend so much time on gold at this time because there is no trend. So now moving on to WTI crude oil. On the weekly time frame, the market retraced back to Senko span A, which is significant actually. I think this is, you know, ever since last year, October, since the market broke the Kumo, it has never touched the Senko span A on this bullish trend. But now it's dropping down heavily and it's about to break the Senko span A. So when you see Senko span A breakout, that means the market is now really retracing back to Senko span B. And in the Kumo, it's like a thunderstorm for the airplane. So the market can be very spiky, volatile in the lower time frames. And that's when you really want to stay away. So the market may be supported at this 61.55, but we will see. Right now, we can't tell really which way it's going. It may bounce and goes up, but once the market really breaks 61.55, then the market may retrace back to the Senko span B. So yeah, better to stay away in this case. If you trade WTI in the market, I think we better stay away in this case. Daily time frame also showing that it's bearish. Kumo flat, Kijun-sen, Tenkan-sen flat. So it may retrace back to either Tenkan-sen or Kijun-sen. But since this is bearish, it may reject it and retrace back to the support this week. So yeah, we really have to see which way it's going. And as far as I see this market, I don't see any potential bullish market in this way. Candlesticks doesn't really, tell anything about this market. So yeah, simply this is bearish. So let's move on to indices. So first I will cover Nikkei, and also I will cover US 30 and Nifty chart also. So for those who are waiting for the index, this is where I explain. So okay, John here says, may you explain which feature you have to save the support resistance lines on TradingView? I'm currently on the app. It's quite different. Oh, simply I draw lines and you can find, let's say I draw lines on the gold and you see all the lines. If you click right here, if you click, hold on, you click the one on the right bottom here, then you can see all the lines you draw in this pair, in this particular market. and you can manage the lines here. You can delete one single line, or you can actually create a folder and categorize into different lines, into different categories by yourself. Yeah, I use this to categorize the time cycles and price theory lines and trend lines, support line, resistance lines. So it's very helpful. All right, so let's move on to Nikkei now. So Nikkei weekly is now still ranging. The market now again went into the Kumo, and this is ranging. So for the last 3 weeks has been bearish, but we will see this week. I think it's gonna be range. So at this time we can't tell which way it's going. And Dow Jones broke the Kijun Sen. I think this is significant because, you know, if you look at the history, it never broke the Kijun Sen ever since the market broke this Kijun Sen on the 18th of May last year. It has been above the Kijun Sen all the time. It bounced here once and twice, but now it broke. So this is significant, and now this may turn bearish. It may turn back to Tenko Span A. So we better hold. You can't buy in this case. And also Chikou Span touched already. And Chikou Span touch also was significant because it has been above the candles for almost 1.5 years. But now Chikou Span touch here, so the market may going into the range really. So yeah, right now do nothing will be the key. Right, and the next one is US 100, which is Nasdaq. Nasdaq is bullish. I can see that this market is still uptrend because the Kumo's up, Kijun Sen is up, and Chikou Span above the candles, and the market dropped down to the Tenkan Sen, but it may bounce and continuously goes up this way. So yeah, Nasdaq is still bullish in this Ichimoku analysis. And the S&P 500 is also bullish because the market is still above the Tenkan Sen. Kumo's up also. In the long term, it's bullish, and it hasn't broken the Kijun Sen yet, so this is also bullish. But if the market breaks the Kijun Sen next week, then it may turn back to Kumo, so we better stay away in that case. All right, and the next one is Euro stocks. Euro stock is now into range because the market broke the Kijun Sen, and Chikou Span touched also, so this is in the range. This Kumo flat, Kijun Sen, Tenkan Sen flat. So now this is ranging. 2 weeks back, it was huge bearishness. So we better stay away, simply. Right, and FTSE 100 is also showing ranging market. Yeah, the retracement was too huge for the last 3 weeks. And now this is on the Kijun Sen, Chikou Span touching. So we better stay away. And CAC fronts is also retracing backwards, but this one is on above the Kijun Sen still, so it may bounce on the Kijun Sen and goes up. But when the market breaks the Kijun Sen, then you better stay away. So that will be the key for next week. CAC fronts. So let me just delete all the purple lines on this Euro market because this is now ranging, retracing. And DAX index also broke the Kijun Sen 2 weeks back, and now this is ranging. Chikou Span touched, broke the Kumo, candles. So this is retracing too heavy, so better stay away. A Nifty chart on the weekly is still bullish because the market is still above the Kijun Sen. So like I mentioned last week, whether the market breaks the Kijun Sen or not is a key. So as long as the market above Kijun Sen, it goes up this way. So let's see which way it goes this week. And AU200 this is retracing backwards, Chikou span touching, so now market is ranging, so we better stay away. No direction. And Hang Seng is also dropping down now. So Kumo down, Kijun Sen down at this previous support level. And this is now turning bearish. So yeah, definitely this is not a bullish market. But more, this is bearish in the weekly chart. Okay, so that covers the whole indices. So now let me switch to the news for next week. So this is the news website that I use. This is fxstreet.com, and you can just go to the calendar and you can get this news. And so I will change it to so this week. So starting from Monday the 6th to the 10th in Friday, and click apply, and I get all the news for this week. So Monday, tomorrow on the 6th we have no news, no big news. Tuesday the 7th we have a rate statement on the AUD, so we have to be careful. And also GDP report in Euro on Tuesday. And also technically on Wednesday morning in Asian time we have GDP report in Japan, so Jpy pairs can be affected, and also rate statement in Canada, and also Governor Lower speech and AUD. So be careful, Canadian dollars and AUD pairs. And Thursday 9th we have no news, big news. And Friday 10th we have a CPI report in Germany, and also another CPI report in the US and Michigan sentiment report in the US. That might impact the market. But overall next week we have big news, but I don't think that the impact is not that much overall. So technically we can trade by the candlesticks and price action and Ichimoku on the charts. So yeah, that's the overview for the news next week. So yeah. So I think we have big trends, many big trends on the Forex pairs. So you can watch once again to wrap up. For those who are newly joining on this live, Euro USD is going down on the weekly. So better to wait for the break of the support 1.1240 and take a sell. And Euro Jpy is down on the daily chart, and it broke the support level on 27.89. So tomorrow on Monday, I start to look for the sell chance. And Euro Swiss franc is bearish on the weekly and daily. It clearly broke the support, and now this is going down nicely also. So yeah, tomorrow we can look for the sell chance. And pound dollar is also doing bearish, but the market is near support, so we have to wait for the breakout 1.3194 and sell afterwards. And pound JPY is also the same case. The market is near support, so wait for the breakout and sell of 148.54. And pound Swiss franc broke the support on weekly, so this one we can continue to look for the sell on Monday. And AUD USD, this is on the support level on the weekly, so it might retrace backwards. And AUDC a deep chart on the weekly is bearish, and daily is also bearish, so we can look for the sell. But one thing is that the Kumo is too thin on the daily, so it might retrace backwards. So to be safer, you want to wait for the retracement and push back and pull back to sell. You have to wait for the Kumo to be thicker in this daily time frame. And even if you look at the forward chart, the Kumo is too thin. Sorry, it's flat right now in the forward chart. So yeah, you better wait for the daily thick Kumo to happen this week to sell. And Aud Jpy is also going down, but the market is near support, so we have to wait for the breakout of 78.90. And finally, AUD Swiss franc is going down, and the target is weekly support of 0.6370 level. So that's the overview for the Forex pairs. So yeah, like this, we have many trending pairs next week. So we can continuously look for the trading edges, most likely sell chance on these markets tomorrow. So we might be busy in trading. And I have been observing the markets for the last 3 months. Usually the first 2 weeks of the month will be active, but towards the end of the month, it becomes quiet. Then also, this is December and this is year end. So most likely the market will be quiet after the 20th of December. So yeah, with that in mind, most likely we have many big trends in active markets this week. So yeah, if possible, please monitor charts every day, at least twice or 3 times per day, and see if you can capture some trading edges. And yeah, so that's it for today's live stream. So once again, if you liked it, please press the like button, and I will see you on the next one. So yeah, hopefully you have a great rest of the weekend, and please rest well, and see you on the next week. So until I see you then, please stay healthy, stay safe, and stay gold. Right, matane everyone. Bye for now. Thank you.